In this video I'm going to talk about how the king moves in a game of chess. And the easiest thing to remember for how a king moves is to remember that it basically can move one square in any direction. Now there is another move for the king called castling that you might be aware of or you may not be, but that also involves the rook, so I'm not going to cover that in this video. I'll make a separate video on castling. So remember that the king can move one square in any direction. So the white king on e1 has 5 options if it were to move right now. It can move one square in any of the 5 directions. I'm going to make this white king move to the e2 square, so I'm going to move it forward. And the black king also has 5 options. I'll just move that one to d7, so king to d7 for black. Now that the king has moved closer towards the middle of the board, the king has more options. It can move one square in any direction, which means there are 8 options. There are 3 in front, there are 3 in back, and then there are 2 on the side. So there are 8 total options. The king is allowed to move one square in any direction. This king I'm going to move to king to f3. So king to f3, and now the black king can move. And rather than drawing the arrows this time, I will highlight, and I hope that you can see that these are the options for the black king, because the black king moves one square in any direction. I'm going to move the black king to e7, king to e7, and then the white king to e4, white king to e4, and then the black king to e6. Now, this brings up an important concept here with kings. Now, if the goal in chess is basically to trap the king, to attack the king in such a way that the king cannot escape and there is no way out of that situation. That's called checkmate. But it's also important to remember that you can never place your king in a spot where it's under attack. So right now it is white's turn to move, and typically you would say that the white king would have 8 squares. You'd have 8 options to move. But in this case it does not, because it would not be allowed to move to a space where it is under attack. So the white king is not allowed to move to the d5 square. I'm going to remove that. It's not allowed to move to the e5 square, and it's not allowed to move to the f5 square, because if it did, then the black king would be able to attack it, and that is not allowed. You are never allowed to place your king somewhere where it is under attack. That is an illegal move in chess. That's the main idea behind the king. The king moves one square in any direction. It can never be placed anywhere where it's under attack. And of course, you generally want to protect your king, because if your king gets attacked and there's no way out, you have lost the game. That's called checkmate. Good luck as you try to protect your king and focus on winning some chess matches.